A very attractive girl in my class, which I could only dream of talking to, showed huge interest in me. There are lots of people here that are extremely skeptical and call bullish on other people's posts when they talk about their benefits just because it hasn't happened to them yet. But I can assure you, the NoFap attraction is more than just gaining confidence or noticing them notice you more. I really disdain with that word. I don't disdain with the community. I just think that the community is not indicative of your best interest when you're trying to utilize this libido, this life force. It's always been wrapped up in repression and depression for me, suppressing something very, very natural. Look, guys, we all have a natural sexual reflex. We have that energy inside of ourselves, and it's always trying to get outside of ourselves. And in many ways, one of the reasons many people come to me and they say, Joseph, look, I'm having particularly a hard time in this area, pardon the pun, is because they're suppressing and repressing this energy. It has to move. It has to have motility. It has to be mobilized. You have to move it through the nerve plexuses. You have to breathe it. You have to exercise. You have to meditate. You have to do some kind of energy work. Qigong could be an excellent avenue for you doing this. But usually it's people who hear about these things that go, oh, I'm going to do this because lots of women are going to be attracted to me. I'm going to sit on my backside and do absolutely nothing, change nothing in my lifestyle, and expect to get the fruits of my labors. I used to do this too. I'm not sitting here on my ivory tower and say that I haven't been through the trials and tribulations of doing this. And, when I first heard about the benefits, of course, it was very, very alluring and I wanted to experience them myself. I wanted to get the female attraction. I was trading in one kind of lust for another kind, a digital lust for a physical lust. But you're not addressing the source. You're not addressing the roots. The problem is you're lusting. The problem is you're constantly affirming a state of not having, of not possessing, of being a beggar in many ways. And this is not conducive to the reality that you would like to see come into fruition. Is it, gentlemen? You have to move this energy. And one of the reasons why I believe, and I agree this person believes, that you're not seeing what you would like to see is because you're coming from that perspective, that lacking, that not having, that not utilizing. It's like recognizing that you have this, you're in a race, you're driving a car and you've got 7 other drivers ahead of you or next to you. And you've just noticed you have the nitrous button. I'm thinking about Fast and the Furious, that nitrous oxide to boost you in front. You have that power. You recognize you've got a full tank. And many of you are going, let me not press that. Let me not use that. Let me not leverage that to my strengths. And hey, you're just going to be like everybody else if you don't. So it's about actually using what you have now. Although I have just made this account, I started NoFap about a year ago, and I started it because I heard it could improve concentration and I had important exams coming up, so I tried it out. Good utility for it. At the time, around 1 to 2 weeks in, a very attractive girl in my class, which I could only dream of talking to, showed huge interest in me. Extreme touching. That is an interesting adjective, and I'm wondering what that entails. Extreme touching. Fondling? I don't know. Hugs out of nowhere, laughs at most common things that I say. Indicators of IOIs. You hear this abbreviation before. Indicators of interest. We started talking every day and she wanted me to ask her out, but I was waiting until after my exams. Good chap. She told me that she likes my energy and told me it's almost as if I have an aura around me and she just likes being in my presence. She also noticed that she's so around me all the time. At the time, I didn't know this was because of NoFap, so I just took it as a general compliment. After the exams, I went back to PMO, and the girl I slowly stopped talking to more and more until we weren't even talking at all. I was extremely sad and depressed about this for over 6 months, so I was doing PMO 1 to 3 times a day. Yikes, Jesus Christ, leave yourself alone, my friend, you'll be better for it. During this period, I was extremely antisocial. Well, naturally, girls showed no interest in me, low confidence, and I got little respect from other people around me. Like attracts like. If you have no respect for yourself, how can you expect other people to perceive it? It's all perception, isn't it? If you have a low self-perception of yourself, how can you expect anybody else to have a higher self-perception than you? It's all about being congruent with that. And if you hold a higher self-perception of yourself, then naturally it should coincide and coalesce in the other observers in the universe. Until recently, I found NoFap again and realized why I've been like this for the past year. So I started going on streaks again and kept relapsing. But what I've realized is every time I go on a high streak, I feel like people around me treat me like I am a celebrity. I am untouchable because I'm not touching myself. This one time at my part-time job, this girl kept looking at me and followed me to get closer to me like she wanted me to approach her. I was a bit weirded out by this, so I tried to give off signs that I wasn't really interested. The old treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen. There have been so many times where a girl would find a way to talk to me even when I've never spoken to them. E.G. About a week ago, I was eating on my own at a fast food restaurant. Don't put poison into your bloodstream, my friend. Go carnivore. Go completely fat. Go completely protein. Or at least go raw diet, vegetables, things like that. Nothing out of packets. This is all part of the transmutation process, keeping your energy nice and clean. So this woman bumped her leg into mine. She apologized and sat down to me, and we started talking from there. Before she bumped into me, I didn't even notice her, and I was just on my phone minding my own business. Also today, a girl in my class walked up from behind me and took the longer way to her house as we walked and talked. Orbiting, you staying in your aura, an obvious sign of a indicator of interests. When I'm walking around, I just get eye contact from almost everyone. Some stare, some look away when I look back. Sometimes they talk to their friends and their friends look back at me. Also, it's not just girls either. I get stares from guys. In fact, back then in a group conversations with my friends, I've always felt like I was the one left out of the circle. I have a big friendship circle, but now I feel like the circle is around me. I am denser in my gravitational field, my pull. My mass is denser. I'm like a collapsing star, and people are just collapsing into my energy, whether I'm talking or not. And I know what friends are real and what friends are fake. Your perception gets better as you begin to collapse into your energy. I get along with everyone more, especially my family, and I'm always positive. Eye contact lasts longer and means more. Conversations are more meaningful, no social anxiety, higher confidence, etc. And for reference points, I've been taking cold showers every morning. I've made myself a skincare routine. I've eaten more fruit, no junk food anymore, and been meditating also a little. I haven't made this post to brag or flex or whatever, but these are just true experiences that I wanted to share on my NoFap streaks. And when it comes back to the subreddit, I see so many skeptics. It makes me want to write about my personal experiences. In my personal experience, I believe the individuals who typically doubt the improvements in their life because they're so frustrated they can't keep their streak going. And I shouldn't say streak because it's not indicative of what we're trying to do. It's a lifestyle. It is just not being degenerate, really. And I don't believe that is such a difficult concept to grasp for most men. I mean, if most men were addicted to cocaine and couldn't stop themselves being a nose hoover every time they went into the pub toilets, we'd say you had a problem. But where adult material was concerned, it seems like everybody turns a blind eye. I think sexual alchemy, because that's what you're actually referring to, allows us to reach our potential and create a magnetic aura around us that others subconsciously gravitate towards. Maybe I'm one of the lucky ones that get to experience these benefits earlier than others, but all I know is that the benefits are real and they're happening to me and could happen to you. Thanks for reading. There is a little footnote here that this individual doesn't want you guys to compare your journeys to his, and you might be going nowhere if you don't get some of the benefits. And they might think you're going nowhere if you're not getting any of the benefits. No one is going to go 0 to 100, but I can definitely say that there is going to be some good improvements and that you should keep that should be enough of a reason for going. I think it's a really great and mature sentiment to end on, and I'm just going to say transparently, even if there weren't any tangible differences in my life, it makes me feel better that I'm no longer a slave to my urges, my vices in that sense. And again, even if there were no benefits, I would not feel good about my body, my soul, my mind, my my vision if something was constantly, if I was a slave to something, if somebody else was my master, if I couldn't command this. And that's what it's really about fundamentally. I don't really care for these masturbatory benefits, pardon the pun, but I care for just ownership, agency, self-government, and fundamentally control. And that's all you should concern yourself with either. These aren't theories, they're facts. Speak soon.